And welcome to the podcast, Carry On with Life and Coffee. This episode is going to be available on YouTube as I'm recording myself. Good times. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. And if you've been listening for a while, thank you so much for your ongoing support. So if you are new to YouTube and you discovered this channel some way, somehow, welcome. You can go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you like this video and you want to see more content, and also hit the like button on this video. Leave a comment as well. Totally appreciate your support. So I have my whole show laid out here. I have my notes, my little footers, what I want to talk about, so I can be a little bit more organized on my podcast. But that has changed a little bit, especially for the past couple of days. Let me tell you. So what's going on in the area is that we're expecting snow. Right? When it comes to snow here in Portland, Oregon, everybody freaks out. It's crazy. Today I went to work. For you guys who don't know, I actually work at a Costco, and I was there and I was loading up people's groceries. I help out the cashiers. I load up people's carts when they check out. We had lines down across the warehouse. I mean, it was a zoo. It was way busier today and yesterday than it was during Christmas time. That's how ridiculous it is. And right now I'm looking at my phone, and the Oregonian, which is like LA Times here in Oregon, of course, it talks about frenzied shoppers pack Portland groceries in advance of weekend snowstorm. So this article right here tells you how freaked out people are. It's like you have to stock the shit out of your pantry, out of your refrigerator, and make sure you have enough food. Even though we're expecting 1 to 4 inches of snow, everybody's like, oh my God, oh. And a lot of you guys who probably live in this type of weather or have lived in it before are like, well, 1 to 4 inches, that's nothing. I know. It's not really much. Hell, the last snowstorm we had, maybe 2 years ago, we had 8 inches of snow, and that was horrible. And the reason why everybody's freaking out is because here in Oregon, the roads can get really icy real quick. So the roads can get very icy dicey when it comes to driving. So you really have to make sure you got your chains. You got to make sure you have the proper tires on your vehicle. Get everything dialed in, because it's going to be really hard to go in and out of your driveway unless you have experience driving in the snow. And of course, when you drive in the snow, you got to be slow about it. So it's been a crazy week. It's been, with work and family and stuff, it's been kind of a hard balance to actually sit down and actually do the podcast and do the show that I have planned out. So I wanted to get that out of the way, tell you what we're experiencing. Right now I'm looking out my window. No snow yet, but we're expecting it later this evening. So cross our fingers and see how it goes from there, because we're supposed to have snow throughout the whole entire week. And that's why people are freaking out even more, because it's snow throughout the whole week, according to like the little weather app we have. So, with my name of the show, Carry On with Life and Coffee, coffee obviously is the most important thing in my life, and I'm sure in your life. And I want to talk about a coffee blend that I actually just picked up. It's really good stuff. So let me go ahead and get my computer set up, and I'll show you guys real quick. Let's see. I have this new software that I'm recording the stuff on, so bear with me here. I'm going to go ahead and pull up a little screen there. Bam! There it is. Let's go ahead and close this up a little. Can we? No, it won't allow me. Okay, I was trying to minimize the window with the webcam, but that's all right. Let's go here, and we will type it in. So let's go Ravens Brew. So Ravens Brew is a coffee roasting company. And they have this really good coffee blend called 3 Peckard Billy Goat. It's a dark roast. It's really good stuff. Let's see. Here we go. Bum, bum, bum. Let's just show you Amazon. Because this roaster has a roasting facility in Washington. They also have one in Wisconsin. So it might not be readily available for you in your area, depending on where you live. So let's just hop on Amazon and I'll give you kind of like a, show you what it is, a visual. Because I already got rid of the bag. I threw it away. So it's better for me to show it to you on Amazon. So let's go ahead and scroll down. Aha, it's like the second one right here. Now, don't freak out on the price. That's for like a couple of 12-ounce bags. But, here we go. This is more like it. Okay, let's click on that. See I don't know if you guys can see the cover. Well, maybe if we like blow it up, I'll show you. As it loads. Now, what I really like about this coffee is that it's a dark roast, but it still has like light hint notes to it, which is really amazing. It's a really fine, balanced cup of coffee. Okay, here it is. I'll show you guys. Yeah, this stuff is really, really good stuff here. I could blow up the picture for you to kind of give you a visual of what the bag looks like. Whoa! There's the Billy Goat. That's the one I was talking about. Yeah, see right here, 3 Peckard Billy Goat coffee. And you scroll down. Another exotic Raven's Brew blend. Ooh. It is velvety mouthfeel, superb body. Uncanny high notes of fruity sweetness hover over a dry chocolate base. Yeah, you can definitely taste the high notes for it. It's really good stuff. I really enjoy it as a dark roast. I think Raven's Brew nailed it on this one when it comes to making the coffee. It's just a really good coffee. And here's more about the product. If you guys want to read more information about it, I'll go ahead and leave a link to this coffee on the video description, and I will go ahead and leave a link onto the podcast as well. If you guys check out the show description on the podcast, I'll have a link provided so that way you can check it out. Really good stuff. And another thing I wanted to talk about too is what I've kind of knew, but I actually started doing, and it's changed my way of making coffee. That's using distilled water. Distilled water is the bee's knees. I mean, it is amazing. What distilled water does, it's like distilled water. It's pretty pure water besides getting filtered tap water. Now, I've been using tap water for a while because I'm just lazy to pay 99 cents for distilled water, a jug of it. And I had my coffee and it was, all right. But when I started using distilled water, it changed everything. My coffee tastes a hell of a lot better when I use distilled water. And I've talked about in my previous episode, how to make a good cup of coffee. I talked about French press and how amazing French press really is because you get the beans, you get the oil, you get everything in the coffee where, coffee brewer and stuff, you filter out all that. So it's not all that great tasting. But when you use distilled water and you use a French press, wow, it is a game changer when it comes to your cup of coffee. You never want to step into a Starbucks again. You'll think about, oh man, this is such garbage compared to the stuff I make at home. Yeah, because if you use the right tools, you're going to make a great cup of coffee. And in case you guys are wondering, that's my little girl, Darla, over here who's hanging out with me, in case you were wondering what the dog was. Or who the dog was. That's Darla. All right. So distilled water. I heard about this on a podcast called Bean Stuff. It's a father and son podcast where you have Paul and Reed Allen. They are actually podcasters that are local to the Portland area. Paul is a coffee roaster master for like 20 plus years. Reed is a coffee enthusiast, and they talked about distilled water in one of their podcast episodes. And I was like, oh, yeah, they're right. Why? I don't know why I haven't been using distilled water. They're absolutely right, because if you use distilled water, you're going to get great taste. So we went to my local grocery store. I picked up a jug of distilled water, brought it home, and I actually made a cup of coffee, and boy, it was amazing. It was some good stuff. So if you guys are interested in learning more about coffee, Bean Stuff podcast, they also have a YouTube channel as well. Definitely recommend checking them out for sure. And I'll go ahead and leave a link to their YouTube channel and a link to their podcast as well if you guys are interested in checking it out. So, besides the snow apocalypse and the craziness that's been happening throughout my whole life, I picked up a new hobby. Well, not really a new hobby, but it's an old hobby that I started picking up again. Same thing with my husband. Old hobby, he started picking up again. Baseball cards. Oh my gosh. Baseball cards, we kind of sort of together as a couple did it again. It was more like Kevin started watching YouTube videos about baseball cards and how people are picking up these certain baseball cards from packs from existing baseball card stores. And I just jumped on the bandwagon, just kind of went with him. Long ago when I was in middle school, this was way before I met my husband, Kevin, I collected baseball cards. I didn't collect much, but I collected some. And my husband collected baseball cards in the 80s and then, throughout the late 80s, early 90s. And then he stopped. Kind of like the same thing with me. I collected X amount of baseball cards, like 1999, 2000, then I stopped. And then he started getting into baseball cards again, watching these YouTube videos. He actually went to a baseball card shop and he bought a hobby pack and he got these cards. And now with baseball cards these days, in order for you to get really good cards, you go to a baseball shop and you get what's called a hobby pack, where you get like X amount of baseball cards or X amount of packs, where you can get an autographed baseball card. They have what's called relics, which has a different shine to the card compared to the other ones in the collection. There's parallels, which if it's a baseball card that has a different color compared to the other ones, that's a parallel. There's different terminology when it comes to the baseball cards. Depending on the player and depending on what type of card it is, you can get a whole lot of money for it. There's one particular player named Shohei Ohtani. He is from Japan. The Angels picked him up. Last year was his rookie year in 2018. He's with the Los Angeles Angels. What's unique about him is he is a pitcher and designated hitter for the Angels, which no other player has been able to accomplish since Babe Ruth. So his card is very sought after, especially if it's autographed, graded, this and that, the other. There's other players, and of course, if you have an autograph card, of course, your card is going to go up in value depending on the player. It could go really significant or it can be nothing. I have an autograph card from a player named Sean Barry, who is or was a player on the Astros a while ago. Even though it's autographed, his card's like worth $5. So again, it depends on who you have, what type of card it is. Is it autographed? Is it not autographed? Whatever the case may be, the card may be worth some money. It's kind of like Storage Wars. I don't know if you guys seen the show. You go, you bid on these guys bid on the locker They're not too sure exactly what they're going to find in there, and sometimes they get a dud or they strike it rich. They make a profit off of it. That's kind of like what baseball cards remind me of. You buy a box, you're not too sure who you're going to get. It could be a hit or a miss. Yeah. And with this said, the hobby that my husband and I are into is, how can I say it? It brings us together more as a couple. A lot of you guys know, because we live here in Oregon, we don't have family out here except for my younger brother who lives with us, but he works all the time. So our time is occupied with our son, and we're together. As much as I love my son, like, my husband and I don't get much time together to do things. And so doing this with my husband I feel like it brings us together even more because it's something that we both enjoy. I love baseball. He loves baseball. He played baseball in high school and in Little League. I did softball in Little League growing up myself. And we both have a love and passion about baseball. We really love baseball. He knows a lot more than I do, but I feed off of that. And I like how he is able to tell me these things and kind of educate me a little bit more when it comes to baseball or baseball cards in general. So I'm learning from him as we do this together as a couple. And it's such a great feeling. And it kind of reminds you of why you even dated the person in the first place, why you married them, whatever the case may be. Maybe you're in a relationship, whether you're married or not. It's always fun to find something for the two of you to be together, whether you've been together for a short time or a long time. Find something that you both have in common. Bounce off ideas. Learn from each other. Because that's what makes the relationship unique. Just having that time together and just sharing that passion, that bond together outside of the bedroom. Let me make that clear. So that's what I've been doing. As far as me collecting whatever baseball cards I have, I picked up a autographed Bo Jackson. He was a player back in the 80s. He played for the Kansas City Royals. That card goes for $150 on eBay. Yeah. One card, $150 autographed. I sold it to the guy that I bought the hobby box from for $100. The hobby box that I paid for was $90. So if you go and buy a hobby box, you're going to pay like between $100 and $120 for that box. But if you can score an autograph like I did with the Bo Jackson, you can get your money back. Easy. It's really cool. So that's something my husband and I have been getting into. All right, so I wanted to give you guys some update too. Another project I've been working on. I have many projects. I really love doing podcasting. I really like to share my thoughts, my views, life in general when it comes to podcasts. I think it's very therapeutic. One of the things that I'm working on is a website. Yeah, I'm working on a website. It is slowly getting together. There's no time yet to actually release it. I know I talked about having an official website, going back and forth with it, but I felt like having an official website would really tie everything together with the YouTube channel and with the podcast as well. I wanted to bring a site together that combines the two so it's easier for people to find the show. Because my name, you can spell it a million ways. There's Carriekari, blah, blah, blah. So people can misspell my name and put Kari on with Life and Coffee, like Kari with Life and Coffee, and they will never find me. So I'm hoping that maybe with the website, people can find the YouTube channel and the podcast together and maybe learn a little bit more about me. So that's what I'm doing there. And also, too, I have what's called a Patreon. Patreon? Patreon? Yeah. You're probably wondering, well, what the hell is that? What's a Patreon? Patreon is a website where it's like a GoFundMe page almost, except it's for artists, podcasters, anybody like that. So it's for my show. So I wanted to create this. I'm not saying, give me money, because financially I could run this show on my own, but do definitely want to have this show to grow. And if I wanted to grow, I definitely need help with that. To make marketing merchandise down the road, get into the website, like pay for the domain name, maintaining the hosting site for the podcast, equipment, things of that nature. So I will go ahead and have the information posted through my Facebook page if you guys are interested in doing this. It is a monthly donation that you do each month. You can do $5, you can do $20, you can do $25 a month, whatever you're comfortable with doing. I'm not asking for $1,000 a month or $100 a month. That's just way too beyond, because I know people have bills to pay. As much as they love this show, they can't fork out $100. I totally get it. If I was in your position, I couldn't do that. I'd probably do $5. That's just me. But if you're a little bit more generous than I am and want to give like 20 or 25, that's cool. You could totally do that. So there's different tiers of the Patreon that you can donate to. And with that, I'm going to throw in some stuff, give you an exclusive link to the newest podcast episode. So it's an early release. Let's say you donate $5, you have access to the early release of the show. The $20 will get you like a shout out on the show. And then the $25 will get you a t-shirt, shout out on the show. And of course, all packages will include exclusive episode release. You listen to the episode before anybody else does. Again, work in progress. The page is still active. You're more than welcome to start the subscription. That's not a problem. But I wanted to let you guys know that it's there if you want to continue the show and have it going on. So, with that said, I gotta get rocking and rolling here because it is 3:30. The snow is supposed to be falling around 4, and I have to pick up my kid from daycare before the snow falls. You know, I don't know if it's going to be exactly 4 o'clock, or it'll be 7 o'clock, or 9 o'clock, or 10 o'clock. Who freaking knows? I just got to make sure my kid is picked up, he's at home, and I don't have to worry about gridlock traffic that we had 10 years ago. It's like 3 years ago. Gridlock traffic with all this craziness. So I got to go pick up my kid. But thank you for watching this. And again, if you are on YouTube, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, smash that like button. If you are following on the podcast, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. You can follow on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Play. So until then, guys, have a lovely day and carry on with life and coffee.